Hello YouTube, Warbles on the lot here. Couple of minutes to 6. Princess of the Black Spot and her littlest footling and her yearling footling, they've come over to have some afternoon tea. There is of course a bowerbird, because where kangaroos are, bowerbirds are follow and hoping for bread, and there is in fact a boyfriend. And all he can say is Joey in the pouch, Joey in the pouch. Because that's what he wants to achieve. Okay, so we have something approaching communion going on here with a swamp wallaby as well, and a little Joey. And yes, boyfriend would like some too. Yes. And you want me to go and get something for the birdies, do you? Hey, is that right? You want something for the birdies? Okay, so Birdie's taken it into his own hand, or her own hands, and started stealing bread from the kangaroos. So we'll throw some out there for the birdies while we wait for the birdies to notice. Oh, it doesn't take long. What we'll do is we will give, come on princess, here you go. Don't be greedy. Yes. Okay, now listen, here's the deal. What we have to do, because I have been too greedy. Oh, see, the birdies have found it. I have taken about 12,000 litres in that tank after I'd already taken 900 litres in that tank. So I pulled more than my fair share of water. So therefore, thus and because, to make things right, what I'm going to have to do is return some water from here, where, as you can see, it's almost at the halfway mark. Like there's a ring running around the tank. And up there be seen, this is the more or less 2/3 ring. There's a bottom ring and there's a ring in between. And the water is just barely below that. I've sort of figured out that what went on this morning was I must have only opened the throttle about 3/4, whereas this afternoon I've opened the throttle all the way. So yeah, I've had 100 litres a minute there, and I've had about 120 litres a minute there, because I was expecting to have to run for about 110 minutes. And what actually happened was 85 minutes in, I'd already put, eyeball rule of thumb, that middle rib has got to be somewhere around 12,000 litres. It's a 25,000 litre tank, and if you look at the height, it's actually designed to have water go up about halfway into the dome, up at the top, sort of kind of thing. So I'm going to say that this is about 12,000 litres, and maybe 12,500, and I'm at about here. So that pretty much could be about 12,000 litres in there and 900 litres over there. So I've taken 13,000 litres out of a 22,000 litre tank, so I've taken too much. Therefore, thus and because, my plan is I've already used the brand new shiny 65mm Storz connector, and I've turned that on, and I've got that going into my pump. That's blocked off, that's blocked off, that's blocked off, but if, come on, if I open that, the head of water from up there is going to go into there, and now it can come out and down and along here, and it can run all the way back down the delivery pipe where it goes into the pump at the water tanks. And from there I can take this short length of safety hose with a nozzle, and with that there ladder and this here battery powered electric drill, we can use gravity feed to put water from here back into there, in through the top of the tank. All I have to do first is take that ladder and that drill down, and then come back up here and get the hose and show you how it goes. Yes, biscuits are good, aren't they, princess? Aren't they, bowerbirds? Aren't they, footling? Aren't they, boyfriend? And winner. Turns out we need this as well as this, but this is all set up. The ladder and the drill is down there. So now, before we lose light, is the hour to be doing this. Okay. Once more, the cheapy version gets a gig. On my tank top, they used self-tapping wood screws. On this one, they've used self-tapping roof nails of the 8mm variety. Now that goes into there, that'll hold it for the moment, while that goes into there, and that shuts up to keep it out of the way. Right, you can sit there while I lift this off. Exposing just how much water I did in fact suck out of here. More than half. Okay, you can call that number 1 or number 33, but that's how many rings there are. And I thought it would be a fair thing if I come down to about 17 below the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. About there would have been a fair thing. Let's see how far down we went. 18, 19, 20, 21. I'm going to say 22 rings. Okay, so that's 5 rings. And at 22.5 for 1,000, yeah, that's about 2,500 litres too much. So yeah, this thing actually pumps like a bastard when you give it full throttle. Maybe the pump salesman knew what he was speaking of when he said that's what it is. I have had a 5 horsepower pump down here flat out. I have had a 6.5 horsepower down here flat out, but neither of those have I been working in full power. This one was working full power today, and we saw at least 120 litres per minute. So anyway, I'm going to have to come from 22 rings down back up to only 17 rings down because the agreement was for half the tank. So we take this, undo that, we put that in, and we hope that this is going to be long enough, because if it isn't, we're going to have to go back and get another 2 metre length of hose, which we do in fact possess. Okay, so nozzle's open. Let's just see whether this whole theory is worth a pinch of shit. There we go. We have in fact got water here, which I can shut off there with that valve and or with that nozzle. So with the nozzle switched off and the valve switched on, we have no flow. Up the ladder we go. Turn on the valve, and the whole system should now permit gravity to put the purloined water back where it belongeth. So you see, well, that seems to be working. Although if I widen the stream, I can probably increase the flow rate. I think that might be the maximum flow rate. Time will tell. Is it going to sit there? Will it hold its own? Oh, the mere friction of that seems to be holding it. Sufficient for me to at least go down and start tapping the walls and see how much of a difference we are making. I think I might have to leave it there for about 20 minutes. That's 17. So we're down here and we've got to be up about there. Erg, ho hum. I can't unplug that because there's no other way of shutting that off unless I had have capped it before I started the procedure. Cunning, isn't it? Let's just see how much fuel we used in 85 minutes. Oh yeah, that's as near as damn is to swearing. It was ready to run out of juice. One half of the bottom of the tank was exposed, so it wouldn't have actually mattered much. Well, now we know this can put 13,000 litres across on one tank full. Worth knowing, even though I was only after about 11,500 litres. Therefore, thus and because, oh what a lovely siphon. I dare say a lot of people finding that they had overpumped from their neighbour's tank to their own tank. They might have bloody well left the extra water in their own tank because for the purposes of firefighting selfishness, that would be more better. But 1,500 or 2,000 litres of water is half a day for his livestock. That's his water. The agreement was for me to get half the tank. Therefore, I'm putting back the stuff that I took by mistake. If you want other people to treat you fairly, you have to do the right thing too. Hey. It's still sounding very hollow there. Sounding very solid there. So, I'm actually kind of sort of in the ballpark. Yeah, I'll let it run for just a little bit longer, and if nothing else, this is a wonderful test of my system. See, nothing happens. That would be because it was switched off. Now I have a water tap. I've never had one of them, other than on a 25 litre container in the hut. So I'm pretty bloody happy. And all of this plumbing actually works. Yeah. I do have to change the angle of the dangle of that Storts fitting. I'm going to get a 90-degree elbow, and that Storts fitting is going to point straight vertically down. And it means that other pipes going into the tank, and there's going to be at least 2 more, those other pipes, they are also going to be on 90-degree hang down Storts fittings. Just so I can connect them or disconnect them as I want, and the hoses will hang straight without getting all clogged and choked and bugger-upificated. Been a bit of a full day, teaching myself to do stuff I haven't done before. That's always a little bit scary. Not terribly scary, but a bit scary. It's a funny thing, but apparently it's a fact. Adding water to whiskey increases the taste, or tastiness, taste effectiveness, so they say. Now, I can't get up there on top of that tank to have a look because the ladder's down there. I mean, yeah, I have got another ladder, but I just can't be bothered shifting it. So this is going to be a bit of a time trial exercise, and it'll be regulated by audible tapping. When I think I've got the right amount of water going back down the hill, and I'll go and switch the whole thing off. Well, actually, I'll switch the whole thing off from this end. And the simple fact that I've had a real good go will have to do. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. I've never drilled holes in the water tank before. When I was a kid, my father would have called a plumber for that, because they didn't have nylon tanks when I was a kid. So times change, but so far, no actual total serious significant fucks. Maybe I should go down and have a look from the other end. This business of doing the right thing does get a bit complicated. But anyway, now that it's all set up, that there is available for a fire truck if it needs it, without interrupting me pulling water out of there to go into my own pump. Meanwhile, that Storts fitting up there connects to the delivery line from the bore pump. And this blue suction line, once upon a time, used to have a 25mm Storts fitting on it, so it could connect to the delivery line if I wanted the bore pump to push as hard as it could, while this thing was feeding several different feeds. Anyway, time to go down and start tapping rings on the other tank. Because this thing seems like it's getting in the right range. As I've said on previous occasions, this business of being a hillbilly, it's not a one-track thing. You have to be pretty good at doing quite a few things in widely disparate areas of human endeavour. At least such has been my experience. I never buggerised around with water tanks before I started to be a hillbilly in a drought, trying to survive global warming. Geez, I wish I hadn't burned 2,000 litres of fossil carbon in 1998, because, you know, it takes 25 years for a cube of carbon dioxide to finish doing 95% of the warming it's going to do. This shitty fucked up weather today is because of fossil carbon I burned 25 years ago and more. I've been driving since I was 17. Hear the noises, it's all still going in. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, I might as well come back in half an hour because Sol is about to be left behind as we rotate towards the east, and the western horizon recedes. Such is life. When you're siphoning, it's slower. I suppose I could start the motor, but I'm really loath, after just talking like I did, to burn fossil fuel in order to pump water downhill when I just leave the bloody stuff. It'll go down all by itself as long as I don't forget to turn the siphon off. It's fair call, it's a possibility, a random pissability, but I hope it's not a probability. However it goes, I don't think I can expect this phone battery to keep on holding this thing on pause much more, because this is about the third video I've made today, and one of them was a much longer one that took it all the way down to being totally flat, and it switched itself off at that. So we'll call this an educational day. Pretty successful. I now have about 10,000 litres in my 25,000 litre tank, apparently. Or I will have once I get back down to that, because I was only allowed to take 11,000 litres today, and I took 900 to put in the Chinese inflatable buoy wall. Life's fun when you got a few moral and ethical scruples. And if you are scrupulous, O-U-S, everything goes well. If you are unscrupulous, your life turns to shit, in my experience. Maybe, perhaps, possibly, 25,000 is not halfway up the dome. Perhaps 25,000 is the top of the cylinder. It still marks that as 12,500. See, I should be about that far below that centre ring. And up here, it sort of sounds like I'm in the right ballpark. However, when I go down there, I'm about that far off. And like I said, we're losing light, and this camera does not really work well in low light, so warbles on a lot to YouTube. The adventure continues, but now my pump talks to a 25,000 litre water tank that's got something in the order of 10,000 litres in it. There's 6,000 litres in the prism tank, and there's 4,000 litres here. So now for the first time ever, I'm sitting on about 20,000 litres for firefighting. And the next trick will be to connect all that stuff up. The part 1 line one, the new 25mm safety hose, which now has Storts fittings on the end of it so it can go anywhere in the system where it's required, but its normal parking spot will be over here to replace this 19mm, I don't know, maybe it's a fire hose for a shopping mall or something. It says it's a fire hose, but it's 19mm and it's got too much internal friction. So what I'm going to do is go onto that brass fitting there with a Storts connector and then plug my new 25mm hose onto it and get 25mm Storts connector to go onto that nozzle there. And this 19mm hose can do other things entirely, 2 of which are going to involve being connected onto a solar powered barometric pressure operated water pump to take water from that there gravity fed buoy wall and put it up into the top there. And another application is going to be to run from the pump on one of its 25mm takeoffs, which is yet to have this pressure relief valve grafted on about there, effectively. Whoops, wrong way around. So yeah, I'll have to turn this around, but it's all adjustable, as you can see by the pink tape, which is not actually tightened up. This allows you to adjust the pressure. This is the lock nut, and the idea is that any time the pressure coming out of the pump exceeds the working pressure when you got a hose working, then that means all the other hoses are switched off. Then this spring valve deploys and it lets the excess pressure off out of there, where it's going to go up to another Storts fitting over there on the turret. So this thing's going to wind up looking like a bloody Dalek. And that means, and it'll have a Storts fitting on it, and it'll be made out of that 19mm shit. And there'll be several meters of it, because anytime I'm not sucking out of this water tank, which means that water tank's empty, then I'm going to be using the lead weighted basket to be sucking out of there or over there, and that means I have to move the pump, and that means that the connection that's going to come off here to go to the all singing all dancing $5,000 plumbing upgrade, that's going to have to be flexible. Yeah, got to be flexible. So it's an evolving thing, but it's a whole lot more capable today than it was yesterday, because we've now got effectively 20,000 litres of water rather than 10,000 litres of water immediately to hand, ready to go, actually connected. So might be a slow day, might be a bit of a piss pot in my old age, but on the other hand, I don't know whether I've shown this to you. The all singing, all dancing Tower of Power has acquired a chair of contemplation with a shelf of restiness. for the bits and bobs, from which I still haven't quite figured out whether I'm going to use it. I'm probably just going to stow the bloody thing under the cap, exactly as my neighbour did with theirs. Welcome to the swinging chair. Omni mani padme hum. Omni mani padme hum. Welcome to Warble's love of triangulated structures. This delightful device was all pop riveted together from lengths of 1mm wall thickness, inch by inch scrap steel. Took several years, but now I can literally sit here in midday in the shade of my solar panel. And I haven't set up any proper, serious, formal footrests as yet. But I can reach down the cloth, the cinnamon whiskey, and the pipe. Yeah. I might be a toothless, tasteless, mangy looking zombie, but even though it's not like being alive used to be, being dead, and I'm having a bit of fun trying to spend a small inheritance and playing the most elegant game of Titanic deck chairs, of which I can contrive to imagine. Warbles on a lot of the Waylard Currajong Budderall Doon fire plan. Signing off. Ciao. Somebody's got to do it. Hey, yeah?